Well, I'm not going to say it's a good move. It could end up being a good move, but for the immediacy of the moment, I'm going to say I don't like the move at all. And the reason why is because of what precedes the move, not the actual move itself. If you've decided that, you know what, you're just not ready, the NCAA, you're tired of them being the crooks that some people believe they are, constantly getting over by exploiting the modern day collegiate athlete, pretending to be an amateuristic sport where clearly it ain't one for them. And that level of frustration brews to such a degree that you just can't see yourself being under its umbrella, then it makes sense. The problem is we have LaVar Ball here. We have the big baller brand here. We have a 16-year-old that you pulled out of high school after complaining about his coach and talking about how you were going to train him. Then you pulled your son out of college because you didn't like how they were treating him after he committed a crime and created an international incident with the robbery issue in China. So you have a son you pulled out of high school, you have a son you pulled out of college, and even though it's not of their doing, it's of the dad's doing, but one's gonna be labeled a high school dropout, the other's gonna be labeled a college dropout. You're going to another country, and what precedes you is your reputation. The bravado, doing things your way, not answering to anybody, etc., etc. It doesn't work that way in societies away from America. And that's what my concern is, and to expose your kids at that age to such, I don't want to say controversial, but I guess that's the word that comes to my mind right now. Such controversial circumstances, such precarious circumstances. I just don't like how it feels. It could end up working very, very well for them. It could end up being a brilliant move because what you ultimately will learn over there, excuse me, is more than you will have learned in high school, Max, or more than you would have learned at UCLA. Maybe. It could end up working out well for you. But in terms of the optics of the situation and thrusting these two young men into this particular situation for the sole express purpose that you didn't like the way things were working out for you here, that is the part that makes me very uncomfortable and lends itself towards me believing this is not going to work out for them. But I hope and pray that I'm wrong because I'm rooting for all of their kids, including Lonzo, and I happen to like LaVar. I just don't agree with him here.
Sounds like we have the same concerns. One, are the kids safe? Wherever you're going to send your kids, is it safe? And as I mentioned, I could think of places I would rather send them than Lithuania, but Lithuania, by and large, it's okay. You know, you're not sending them to communist China when you send them to Lithuania. You know, the biggest threat is probably if there's a Russian invasion. That's what you have to worry about, more than like human rights or their rights being infringed upon by the government in a way that would seem alien to Americans. And in terms of the experience, Stephen A., and what they would learn, it's a trade-off. You could go to UCLA and really not go to class or not care much about it and just play basketball. You get something out of that too. You're socialized in a different way if you're not completely isolated from the rest of the student body. You're maybe not on your own because you're still in your hometown and all that stuff. But it is a new experience you haven't yet had. In terms of becoming more mature and more worldly, probably spending a year abroad as they're learning basketball, if the idea is that they wouldn't really be going to class anyway or caring much about it, I would imagine is at least as good an education, maybe a different kind of education, but certainly you think you become a more interesting person having that experience than not having had that experience. So then it boils down to me, is it okay to send them there? Yeah, I suppose. I suppose Lithuania just crosses that threshold for me. Okay, fine, go play in Lithuania for a year.
Just a little different than California. By the way, guys, the Lithuanian team that signed the Ball brothers is currently in last place in the Lithuanian League. It's 2-9 this season.